10 bizarre cars from the past. 1936. Stout Scarab. Designer William Stout, who worked as an aircraft engineer before turning to automobiles. Stout Airlines is credited with introducing flight attendants and in-flight meals. The Scarab draws on that idea. It's a road-going diner car powered by a Ford V8 tucked in the rear of the stretched aluminium body. The brand never took off, partly because at $5,000, about $90,000 today, the Scarab was more expensive than the Packards and Cadillacs of those days. Number 9. 1942 Earth Electrique. The 1942 Earth Electrique or Electric Egg had 3 wheels and ran on batteries decades after gasoline became the dominant way to power cars, and decades before Elon Musk decided to make electricity cool again. Its designer, Parisian Paul Arzenz, worked as a painter and designed railway locomotives before moving on to cars. The bubble is made of hand-formed aluminium and curved plexiglass, a novel material at the time. Number 8. 1947 Norman Timms Special. No other automobile looks like the 1947 Norman Timms Special, with its front-mounted cockpit and curves leading to a raindrop tail. Timms, an Indy racing engineer, made the car with a Buick straight 8 engine placed at the rear of the chassis. Look to racers like the 1937 Auto Union Type C for indications of Timms' inspiration. Number 7. 1953 General Motors Firebird 1XP21. To describe today's supercars, we fall back on likening the Koenigseggs and Paganis of the world to jet fighters. The 1953 General Motors Firebird 1XP21 was an actual fighter jet with 4 wheels, a tail fin, and a bubble cockpit. The turbine engine spun up to 26,000 RPM to generate a whopping, for the time, 370 horsepower. 1955 Chrysler Ghia Streamline X Gilder. The 1955 Chrysler Ghia Streamline X Gilder got its name from a 1946 Rita Hayworth movie. After foregoing a planned jet turbine engine, Italian firm Ghia outfitted the Gilder with a plain 1.5 litre engine made for touring. The design is an antecedent to a short run of Chrysler turbine cars, and the fins tells you it's from the 1950s. 1970 Ferrari Pininfarina 512S Modulo. Design firm Pininfarina has produced more famous works, but the Ferrari 512S Modular car, which it created for the 1970 Geneva Motor Show, didn't aim for beauty. Designer Paolo Martin put the bizarre body on the chassis of the Ferrari 512S race car. 1970 Lancia Bertone Stratos HF0. This 1970 Lancia Bertone Stratos HF0 is the concept that led the seminal Lancia Stratos. Just 33 inches tall, the concept was so short drivers had to enter through the hinged windshield. 1935 Bugatti Type 57S Competition Coupe Aerolive. The original example of the 1935 Bugatti Type 57S Competition Coupe Aerolive, which debuted at the Paris Auto Show in 1935, was lost after the unveiling. The popular explanation is that Bugatti disassembled it for parts to make the Type 57 production car that followed. The model on display is a recreation produced in 2007 based on record specs, photographs and an oil painting by a Bugatti engineer. 1932 Ford Speedster. The 1932 Ford Speedster, packing a flathead V8 engine, came with a starter button, decades before the feature became standard automotive fare. The low, long roadster was the brainchild of Henry's son Edsel Ford and designer Eugene Gregory. 1959 Cadillac Cyclone. See those two black cones where the 1959 Cadillac Cyclone headlights should be? Those are the radars for the car's crash avoidance system, a technology you might recognise as today's adaptive cruise control. If the car sensed an approaching object, it would set a series of warning lights and a high-pitched beep, and the car could even automatically apply the brakes.